Yeah. All right. Can you put me through to probation service?
Amos!
Are you okay?
This is gonna sound insane!
No, there's a guy in the wall. She's telling the truth. We have to get back to her place.
Welcome to Second Class Cinema, the show where we watch a B movie and immediately discuss. I am Tom. I am here with Brittany and Eric.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, guys.
Oh, God. Can I tell you, I'm so happy to be here.
Back on Earth.
Outside of space. Back on Earth.
Yes.
We've landed.
Yes, we have wrapped up Space Month last month, so we decided to treat ourselves a little bit tonight, I think. We decided to treat ourselves to a movie with some high production values, with some decent storytelling. Decent.
Actually, pretty good, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
decent on the production values.
Yeah, for sure. And that movie is 2014's Housebound that we watched on Netflix.
Straight out of New Zealand.
And this was your pick, Brittany.
It was.
Why?
I feel like I cheated a little bit.
Why?
Why'd you cheat?
I had seen this movie on Netflix, and then somebody at work recommended it to me, and they were like, oh, it's pretty good. And then I heard like a couple of good things about it, but not really much about it at all. So I kind of went into it assuming that it was going to be enjoyable, which...
We don't set out to watch horrible movies we hate on this podcast. It just happens.
We don't, yeah, but we don't set out to watch things we know will be awesome either.
That's true, but I mean, this is, you know,
we
New
go in
Zealand.
blind a lot of the time.
Exactly. And I went in blind. I kind of had a small vibe of the movie, but not really.
But you know what? I'm not even mad because we made it through last month and we deserve to treat ourselves.
Exactly. So we watched.
That's why I spent this entire week eating ice cream out of a giant tub-sized tub.
Yes. I love
Treat
tub
yourself.
sherbet. It's my favorite. All right, so it was your pick. We know why you picked it now. We're all caught up. What's it about?
Okay. So this movie is about a girl named Kylie who gets in trouble for attempting to steal the cash box from an ATM. The judge sentences her to house arrest with her parents for 8 months. So she moves into her mother's house. She thinks her parents are really boring and annoying, and some stuff happens, and eventually she thinks that the house is haunted and that she's in danger.
Yeah.
But she's stuck there. So that's pretty much the bare bones without giving away the multitudes of misdirection this movie lays on you. That's like the bare minimum.
Multitudes.
Yeah.
Lots of it.
Yeah.
And I know it's a little early for me to talk about favorite parts, but I must say, I just want to mention one thing that Eric brought up at the beginning of this movie, and I thought was hilarious. In New Zealand, punishment can be considered having to live at home with your parents for 8 months.
Like somebody actually doled that out as a punishment.
Like that's a punishment for they blew up. They used dynamite, blew up an ATM, and stole cash. Like you'd be in prison for years if you did that here in the States. My God,
Yeah.
that's like an act of terror. They were just like, go live with your mom for 8 months.
Go live with your mum.
No.
Okay, you clowns, cut the crap.
So let's do successes then.
Before this movie even started, I wrote down the fact that it was made in New Zealand as a strength.
Yeah, so we've watched on this podcast, we watched Deathgasm, which is a New Zealand horror comedy as well. Mm-hmm. And what else? There was a Black Sheep.
Yep.
There's a New Zealand movie that we have watched, not for this podcast, but which is also a horror comedy. There's also the classic Peter Jacksons.
Oh, yeah.
Which are all hilarious and grotesque.
Flight of the Conchords.
And this Flight of the Conchords too. Hilarious, but not quite grotesque.
Not that we watched it for this.
Yes. So, I mean, I think they've got a pretty good reputation.
Yeah, my experience with anything that's come out of New Zealand personally has been great. So that was a huge plus.
Yes.
Right off the bat, I felt like it was super effective at portraying the characters' personalities. The mom was so effectively irritating. I totally sympathized with Kylie almost immediately.
Yeah.
Like her mom was just like a blabbermouth, just obnoxious mom character.
You even kind of got like that vibe, not even just from her, but from where she lived. Like I felt like her character really bled through the setting of this movie.
Yeah.
Of this like very old looking house where they still have giant CRTs hanging around everywhere, and like just old knickknacks just everywhere. Like this place is an organized mess.
Yeah.
And it just like it gives you that like, ooh, like this place hasn't been updated since like the 1970s kind of vibe.
Definitely.
Yeah, you're like, is that the like production design or is that New Zealand?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny that you both say that because I honestly I did not like Kylie for the first more than the first act. I was just like, man, she is. I don't like her, and I felt bad for her mother for having to deal with her.
I didn't like either of them really.
See, I wrote Kylie's a bitch and her mom is so annoying and spineless. And I kind of didn't like both of them to begin with. But they both grew on me.
Oh yeah, yeah. They needed each other to grow.
Yeah.
And that was great. But I mean, I think I didn't like Kylie as much as I think I was annoyed by her mother.
I can see that.
Oh yeah.
I like that instead of giving Kylie a regular redemption, they just kind of let her use her skills in the throughout the course of the movie. Because they kind of hint at like, oh yeah, you can, spend this time going to correspondence school, which don't get me wrong, that'd be a great premise for a horror movie, is her studying to become a plumber. But I really like that they didn't go the route of like her redeeming herself over the course of the movie. Instead, she's just applying her skills of like breaking and entering and beating people with sticks to like effectively progress the plot and accomplish what she has to do throughout the course of this movie.
Totally.
And she doesn't really get any kind of actual redemption until the very end of the movie. And I don't know, there's something about that I liked. I like sticking with this character, and this character arc is really just about her pushing her way through this environment the way that she knows how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I really appreciate.
I feel like it makes it more realistic too, because they didn't try to give her that redemptive arc. They were just like, you're just gonna be a beast the whole time.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. And I want to see a beast in the lead in one of these movies. Like, usually the lead actress in these movies usually has to come around from being maybe more of an innocent kind of person to having to commit acts of brutality.
Yeah.
And Kylie is just like right off the bat, just ready to go.
Yeah,
And
they're
I
like, you're just
appreciate
gonna use your skills and be gangsta the whole time.
yeah, no, very perceptive.
Perspective. I have good perspective.
You've got good perception. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to throw out another success on top of the New Zealand thing. I mean, this movie was a very well-balanced horror comedy. Like, I thought that there was, great, genuine creep factor, and then there was also hilarious breaks.
Yes.
And honestly, it's not like the tension was so thick that I needed these comedy breaks, and it's not like the comedy was so funny I forgot the intense situations. And my first reaction was, I really wish they would either have gone to make this super comedy or super thrilling. But in the end, I think I'm satisfied with the taste in my mouth.
Yeah. I gotta agree with that.
Yeah.
I feel like Deathgasm kind of reached the same balance too. Mm-hmm. They both sort of reach that balance of, and I feel like these movies have a lot in common of, like an outsider to like a normal quote unquote family having to deal with something that they don't quite understand.
Yeah.
There must be a lot of like suppressed goth kids trapped in New Zealand.
I feel like that. I would not surprise me in the slightest.
And all those kids are making movies now.
Yeah. And because like they basically had to deal with all that shit on their own, they're like super perceptive to these kind of things. Like they couldn't just buy the subculture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the comedy, like, I don't know, New Zealand just has their humor just down. Like, it's so perfectly dry and innocent.
It really is. Like, it's so polite.
Yes. Like, it's so sincere.
The
Like,
part at the police station.
yeah.
She was like explaining her story and she's like, I was putting the vacuum away and like all this stuff happened, and like 45 seconds later the cop's like, all right, slow down, you put the vacuum away. He's like typing, he's like, and then what? The rest is a blur. Like I don't know.
Yeah, and it's people who aren't funny really, but in the moment, but they're funny to us.
Like deadpan.
It's like everyone is Leslie Nielsen.
I'm having a hard time with my notes. Like I wrote things down and now I don't remember what they were.
Don't remember what they mean.
Yeah, I wrote candy basket.
Candy basket.
candy basket.
Are you sure you just don't want a lot of candy?
Are
Like
you
a
sure?
basket's
No.
worth?
I wrote creative candy basket and xylophone.
Ah, the xylophone.
That was one of my favorite parts.
That's
so
definitely a favorite
I want to
part.
save that.
Candy basket.
I know. I don't remember what the hell it was about.
Candy basket.
Candy basket.
Candy basket?
This is about one of the fights near the end where you're confusing a candy basket with a hamper? No.
No.
Oh no, yeah, I am. It's not candy. It's laundry.
Oh, good. So here's the thing.
I was like candy basket.
Eric, you're so perception.
A laundry...
Perception level 100.
Sorry, Eric, go ahead. Go for it.
I was just going to say, I want a laundry basket full of candy now. That seems like a great quantity of candy to have.
When I go trick-or-treating, I usually walk around with a laundry basket.
A laundry basket.
I still go trick-or-treating.
But yeah, I just thought that they used the props and their surroundings to like their advantage in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like at one point the antagonist,
Yeah.
I guess.
Probably.
I mean, I don't know who you're talking about.
Villain.
Yeah, the villain he's like trying to attack Kylie and her mom with a knife, and he gets a laundry basket shoved over his head, and he's just like awkwardly trying to like cut through it and like attack them, but he's just confined to this tiny space.
He's
It's
just a flailing
funny.
arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the use of props because I felt like I'd never seen the use of a lot of these props in horror movie settings before.
Yeah, it was just like household items.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked the misdirection of this movie, if we can delve a little deeper into like the story.
Yes.
So, well, I really liked the way that the beginning exposition is kind of dropped on us. Like when she gets to the house and she's like smoking a cigarette at night and she hears her mom on the phone with a radio station talking about how their house is allegedly haunted. I thought that was kind of a creative way to like drop some backstory on us without just coming out and saying it. So I appreciated that they took the time to do that. So like this movie devolves from a like house arrest, haunted house movie into like a creepy I survived, someone's living in the walls movie to like a murder mystery.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
went from like The Conjuring to Black Christmas.
Yeah. I was thinking catching those vibes too. I thought of both of those.
I don't know.
I liked it. I felt like it wasn't too much. At the beginning, I felt like it was a little slow, but then
Yeah.
once it like ramped up, I felt like it was worth the wait.
Yeah, I buy that. It definitely it did start a bit slow because we got maybe about half hour in and I was like, ooh, that's it.
Yeah, I felt like so much had happened, but really nothing had happened.
Yeah, it was just the way it was laid out.
Yeah, we got a long, slow burn on Kylie being horrible to her mother and her mother being awful.
Yeah, they really let that relationship linger for the good 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But then I loved its sudden turn into like hyper creep town.
Yeah.
That was really great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I was by the end of this movie, I felt like I had watched multiple movies, which is great. You know, that means it's just deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had never at any point like felt like I knew where any of them were going.
Yeah, yeah.
Not that I was lost, but I couldn't just be like, oh, I bet I know what happens.
Yeah,
No, I was always behind the 8 ball in this movie, which I can appreciate.
Yeah. They were steps ahead of me anyway as a viewer. It felt good.
Yeah.
Much better than Space Month.
God.
Must
Nothing
say.
was a surprise. Nothing was interesting.
So, if do we have any more successes?
I think that's about it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay. So, did anyone have any failures for this movie? Do we have anything that we can note as something that I mean?
I had a question / failure depending on what you guys think of it.
Okay.
I wrote purposely forced jump scares. Did you like at the beginning when she's with the cops and her probation officer or whatever, and they get to the house and it does the jump scare of the mom rear-ending them in the driveway,
Yep.
and then the jump scare of her like going to the cops like driver's side window like, oh hi. And I was like, if that's purposefully like jump scared obnoxiously, I think that's brilliant and like hilarious. But if that was like supposed to be a legitimate jump scare, then I think that's ridiculous. But I'm just gonna err on the side of this movie's favor and say that they did it purposefully.
Yeah, given the tone of humor in this movie, I think they probably did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think they may have laid a foundation for all the misdirection later with those moments because all the jump scares were front heavy and mostly when we thought the place was haunted.
Yeah, true.
And then, beyond that, when we found out more, it was less jump scares, more tension building. Like, I feel like this movie went through an evolution. Like, okay, we're going to do jump scares. Okay, now we're going to build a lot of tension. Okay, now we're going to do like super intense chase scenes around the house.
Yeah.
So that I feel like they touched on a lot of different elements of thrill.
Definitely.
All effectively, all coupled with comedy. So it was very, very well done.
So funny.
So not a failure, in fact, a success.
Yeah. Throw it on the other side of the fence. The beginning was a little slow, like I said.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I found myself checking the time at like the 35-minute mark.
For sure. That did have me a little scared for the rest of the movie.
Because it was a scary movie.
Of course, because it was a scary movie.
Honestly, you know what I think changed it around for me? And I don't know his name, and I feel so bad, but the creepy, beardy neighbor. I felt like as soon as the scene where he explained who Eugene was, that the movie just like ramped up from there.
Yes,
and
for sure.
It was marked by that guy being like the best fucking part of this movie and not having nearly enough of him.
Well, I think that was the moment that the movie finally gave us something to latch onto, something to figure out, and like something hard, as opposed to, is the place haunted? Is her mom that annoying? Like, did she actually see someone in the basement? Blah blah blah.
And I think that's maybe one of the only negatives I had, and it's only maybe half a negative now that I've seen the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is I felt like when we were in the supernatural, quote unquote, portion of the movie, I felt like it was losing track of the supernatural plot. Like, it would go for like long stretches of time where we wouldn't even have any reference points to the supernatural thing that's going on, even though that was presumably the focus of the movie at that point. I was like, this movie feels very unfocused, but like you said, once we get to that part where they talk about Eugene, I was like, okay, now we're on point. Like, I understand where we're going with this.
Yeah, because it kind of jumps all over the place. Like, first she finds out that the house was like a mental hospital. And then you're like, at that point, I was kind of like, all right, so is this still a ghost movie, or is this like a crazy person movie? Or is that like a dead crazy person movie?
Yeah, I thought it was a ghost crazy person at that point.
Yeah, and then she like finds the retainer thing and like uncovers the story of the girl's murder. And I was like, all right, so this is like a murder ghost story? Okay. And then it was like, nope, it's like a guy living in the walls ghost story. I was like, this is so fucking crazy.
Yeah, it was wacky.
Yeah.
But cool.
I liked it.
For sure. I'm gonna throw out a quick little negative.
A little negativo.
And it's the end of the movie. So I don't know if we want to catch people up and we want to go ahead and say something, or if I just go ahead and say.
Yeah, no, we can delve into the plot and build some groundwork for what you're about to say if you want to.
So it's not just nonsense spouted out into the ether.
Okay, that's good, because it's going to the ether regardless.
Oh, good. Excuse me, ether, spoiler alerts.
Lay it on them.
All right, well, okay, so we talked about this movie transitioning through all these phases, and there was the supernatural phase, the guy living in the wall phase, as
not
every
really
movie
a
does.
phase.
Yeah, the 7 stages of a movie.
I kind of love that, and I found it so endearing.
The failure that I was going to say was literally the very end of the movie, where they went to remove the house arrest bracelet, and then the mom's like taping it and being all like home video stuff, and then all of a sudden the camera goes out and she's like, oh, I can't understand why, and then Kylie, our main character, just screams out, Eugene, who's the guy who lived in the wall. Like, they're all one big happy family now.
I thought that was hilarious.
I did not like that.
I liked that because I actually had the thought during the movie. Okay, back it up. So they uncover this murder plot. Not even a plot, because it already happened. They uncover the fact that a girl was murdered in their house when it was a mental hospital. So Kylie and her like ankle security bracelet guy, Amos, are like, all right, we're gonna figure out who committed this murder.
Amos was awesome, by the way.
He was fantastic.
They zoom in on the neighbor, who's like this rough and tumble old like redheaded dude who smokes like 40 packs of cigarettes a day. Long story short, Amos ends up having a conversation with this guy about his stepson, who was like really agoraphobic but amazing with machinery. And he could do anything with like computers, and I guess he vanished and nobody ever knew what happened to him, and he vanished like a year before this girl got murdered. He's the guy who ends up living in Kylie's family's walls and ultimately helps them escape the villain, who ends up being the cop. Counselor.
Yeah, not the cop.
Counselor, who was a counselor at the mental hospital who murdered the young girl.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
I thought that was really funny because towards the end, I was like, oh, I wonder if they're going to make Eugene leave their house because he was living in like a secret room in like the walls of their house and like stealing their food and stuff. And I was like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen to him.
You know,
I like it in concept. I didn't quite like the execution.
Exactly.
I did. I thought it was really funny.
No, I am so with you right there. I was like, it was 1 inch from being a great ending. Like, I do like the concept. Like, they're a big happy family now. If she had screamed Eugene and maybe they cut to him like in the walls because he had like a little headphone TV and he like took the headphone off and looked around for a second, maybe that would have amplified that moment a bit more. Other than that, it was they made me feel dumb when they did that.
Oh, no.
I think it was like either a beat too long or a beat too short.
Yeah, I think it was too short. I think they rushed through it and I just.
Well, I took it as like not like she wanted him to fix it, but like he was the one who had broken it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's how I take it.
Oh,
too.
Okay.
same. Yeah, same. No, I'm right there with you.
Okay. I don't know. I liked that personally. I thought it was really funny and like kind of cute.
Yeah, like I totally agree with that.
It was a
right
cute
there.
way to wrap up. Like everyone lived except for the cop.
Yeah.
And the counselor.
Counselor.
It was just a little. It was like a touch of that same humor that was sprinkled throughout, but just like a little more.
Yeah, a little more,
But no, I can
90s
get.
sitcom.
I can get you being like that was a little cheese.
Yeah, and honestly, the only my real only problem with it is that I wasn't cheesy enough. I guess because I want him to go all in. Like, show me Eugene.
Eugene looked like Beetlejuice.
Like he totally did.
I was like, who is this Beetlejuice motherfucker? Like living in their floorboards.
Yeah. All right. So any other failures before we move on to favorite parts, guys?
No, and I mean that failure, the one I threw out was kind of a stretch.
Yeah, mine really. I do feel bummed about mine because it was the last thing from this movie that I got to experience.
Right.
So I was like, but I mean, not like it actually impacted the journey.
No.
Fair enough.
All right, so let's talk about some favorite parts then.
Oh man, I have a couple.
Okay.
Most of them are like stuff that people said that was just like perfectly timed. Like when Kylie first encounters Eugene and she's like running from him, even though he's not even really trying to hurt her, but I would be fucking terrified too. She goes to the police station and she's explaining it to that guy and the whole vacuum in the closet story. And then Amos busts in and she's like, this is gonna sound so insane, and he's like, no, there's a guy living in the walls, I know. And I just thought that was hilarious because there were so many like little deliveries like that throughout the movie that really upped the comedy factor, and I thought gave it an artful balance of comedy and horror.
Yes, and it was quick. It was they just slip him in there, right? So they don't let you forget the tension or the situation they're in. They just give you a little mental break.
Yeah, it doesn't take away from the situation
No.
at hand at all.
You know, you can just chuckle with it. Eric, what about you?
Cheese grater gauntlet.
Hey,
That was awesome.
that was pretty great.
Another great utilization.
Yeah, just finding whatever you can use in a horror movie. Cheese grater's not a bad choice, and we just see Kylie walking around with a knife and a cheese grater gauntlet. And she put it to good use. I mean,
No, well-
for practicality,
Well, I was wondering what she was gonna, wield it as. Like, is she going to like give it some extra weight to her fist? Is she gonna grate something with it?
I thought she was going to use it to like block a knife or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And then
Or
she ended up
shield.
like grating his face with it.
Which was awesome.
Yeah, well,
What an
pretty
excellent horror movie character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and on top of the prop utilization, favorite part there, because there was a xylophone that
Yes, that was one of
she-
my favorites as well.
she had uncovered
In the basement or in
the
a
basement looking at her
crawl
stuff.
space.
And she like picks it out, she hits a couple notes on it, and then they move on really quickly. And then at the end of the movie, the bad guy busts into a room. She's got a knife, and then he looks around to find something to beat her with. He picks up the xylophone, and she goes to stab him, and then she starts like playing notes. Oh, so well done.
That was so funny.
That was excellent.
I appreciate small things like that so much.
Yeah, it's the details.
On that note, excellent small things. When the villain is trying to break into the bathroom where they're all camping on it, and he takes out a circular saw and starts buzzing through the door,
Yeah, we're
and
like,
it cuts
where
to
the
him. It cuts to him doing it from the outside, and he found goggles and hearing protection. Like, it's so practical. Like, I feel like it's a very New Zealandy thing. Like, well, you're not gonna start sawing without your protection.
Yeah, not with your personal protective equipment.
goggles and earphones.
in the process of trying to commit murder, but you have to be safe.
That was really funny. Oh, that xylophone shield, though.
Yeah, Xylophone Shield was great.
When the ghost, quote unquote, first attacks Dennis, who is the villain / counselor, and they call but it's really Eugene who attacks him, and they call the police, and the police come, and they're like taking the report, and they ask the mom if she has anything she wants to add, and she's like no, and he's like, all right, so we're gonna stick with this story then, like attacked by vengeful ghost. And she's like, and he's like, all right. It's like deadpan stuff like that is so key.
Yeah. Another favorite part of mine, it's down to a prop as well. It was the teddy bear prop that was like the
That
talking
was
bear.
creepy.
Like, not only was it creepy, it was funny,
Yeah.
and it also serviced the plot. Like, they made this stand out, like actually something that impacted everybody.
Yeah.
Because inside this toy, there was, it can record messages, right? So you hear this bear say like, hey, press a button to record. And then there's a little tape in there that reveals some very, very specific plot points for us.
Yeah. That was
Nicely done.
just to add to the positive, the strength that I named of it being effectively infuriating.
Perceptively infuriating.
I can English good.
Good job.
The mom being so irritating and like mom-like when at the beginning when they first think there's like a ghost or somebody's like broken into the house and they're crouching by the stairwell and she grabs like an umbrella. Well, first the mom like complains about kneeling. She was like, oh, I have bad knees. Like I can't stay in this position very long. And Kylie's like, shut the fuck up. And then she like grabs an umbrella to attack their assailant. And the mom's like, oh, that was a gift from like your uncle so-and-so. And she's just like, oh, great. It won't break then. Like,
yeah.
It was just so funny.
Yeah, very natural.
Very mom.
Natural. Yeah.
I read that this movie only had a budget of $350,000.
Really?
I don't know if that's U.S. or New Zealand or...
I mean, if it's U.S. dollars, I can definitely see how that would go further in New Zealand.
Yeah, for sure.
True.
Yeah, so, I mean,
that's still not a huge budget.
no, it's
not
very
at all.
small.
But this movie looked great.
It looks fantastic for what they accomplished, yeah.
Like,
I
the
think
lighting
so.
was great.
Yeah.
Like, the sets were great.
Yeah, I mean, everything basically took place in this one big house.
The only thing I hated was that the Kylie character, I don't know the actress's name, but she wore a wig.
Or Leary or something.
She wore a wig like 60% of the time. And I'm assuming that she like was in another movie or like colored her hair or something. But it was so obvious to me. It was kind of annoying. Because then when I saw her real hair, I was like, why?
Samurai Cop.
Yeah, samurai cop treatment.
Or Hellraiser and spacing it now.
Oh, God.
No, I think Hellraiser and Spaced Samurai copped it as well.
The original Wigmaster.
All right, so
Matthew Caratus is Wigmaster.
I'd watch that.
Coming to theaters near you in January 1990.
Directed by Wes Craven.
All right, let's rate it. So let's rate it then.
Yeah, I'm going to go with
Yeah,
fuck
I'm going to
you.
have to give it an unfortunate fuck off.
Oh my god, my fucking father.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
All right, guys, let's rate Housebound from 2014. Let's do it. Brittany, you picked it. You start.
I'm going to give it a fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, okay.
In the beginning, I was a little unsure because, like I said, they really took their time with building the characters and their relationships and all that. And while I always appreciate that, it just felt like it was taking its sweet time. But then the ramp up and the story development it just paid off so well, and the humor and the grotesqueness. It was just like the perfect mash of comedy and gore and horror and storytelling. So I would definitely recommend this movie.
Excellent. Eric, what about you?
Yeah, I'm just going to give this a fuck yeah as well. This is just a fantastic blend of horror and comedy. I feel like New Zealand just nails it. I don't know what it is about that culture that just nails that shit.
Continuously.
It's so good. And maybe it's just because we only end up seeing the great parts that come out of there, but I feel like it's just consistently every time we see something that's comedy and horror from New Zealand, it's great.
Yeah.
And when you guys had said this was from New Zealand, I was very excited to watch this because I had an assumption that was going to be fine.
Good.
We earned this.
Yes. I was on the fence of how high I wanted to rate it, but since I purposely let both of you guys go before me, I will now conform to the consensus.
Don't conform.
And I will give it a fuck yeah. Well, because now I don't want to stop it from being a fucking sweep.
From achieving its ultimate greatness.
Yeah, because I did really enjoy it. I mean, I was gonna nitpick, but I won't nitpick. I'll feel the pressure here, and I'll give it a fuck yeah for all the reasons mentioned. I definitely would recommend this to a lot of people.
I was like, I can think of some people right now who need to watch this movie.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's and we definitely deserved watching a good movie. Like we almost I was almost ready to watch anything. Anything. I was, because Brittany was running through a couple of options to pick. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's watch that. Oh, we're gonna watch this? Okay, all right, we'll watch this.
We danced on the really great side of the spectrum, thinking about watching Attack the Block and stuff like that, and then we went to the total opposite with cheerleader ninjas, and we landed right here.
Look at this happy medium that we ended up in.
I'm very, very pleased.
Yeah, I am too. It was good. Any final thoughts?
New Zealand, keep making movies, please.
Yes, we greatly appreciate your artistic contributions to the film world.
Maybe we should be a little proactive, and we should try and find some more.
Yeah, probably.
You talk about New Zealand month.
We're lazy.
Am I talking about New Zealand month? I might be.
Oh my God, it's too early to talk about any months.
Well, yeah, it is a bit early for months, even though I'm thinking of the next one already.
I never want a month again.
Well, month. That was really the only bad month.
That's true. Kids month is great.
Kids month worked. Horror movie month worked.
Cult
movie month worked. I mean, those are all of our months, right? We didn't do any other months.
Christmas?
No, we didn't. We kind of blew that off.
Did we?
I pick a Christmas movie every year, but that's just me.
Every 1 year.
Twice. Happened twice.
Wait, oh yeah, Santa with Muscles. That's right.
Yeah. Come on, guys. We've been doing this for a bit.
Almost 2 years.
Yep. Almost 2 years next year. All right, so that's it, guys. We're done. We watched Housebound from 2014, and it was fuck yes all around.
Yeah.
So great job. We feel good about it. We're re-energized now.
We are.
I'm glad we did that.
I feel like I can face down some terrible things now and not be as pissed about it.
Yeah, we're actually the next movie we watch is going to be Get Even. It's going to be Road to Revenge, a Bad Movie Sunday pick. So that's exciting. I've been wanting to watch this movie for a bit, and I'm glad we finally have it planned.
So get ready.
Very excited.
So that one's going to be bad, but it should be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
I don't know anything about it.
Watch the trailer when we're done here. You'll enjoy it.
We'll watch it. Yep.
Going in blind.
All right. So if you'd like more information, head on to Facebook, facebook.com/secondclasscinema. If you'd like to listen to our show, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, secondclasscinema.com, and followingfilms.com.
Sure can.
Good night.
What?